Okay. It appears that I am live and happy to see you guys. So let me let the group know. Let me let the group know. Let me let the group know. Let me let me go. Okay, so getting this out to the group. Start now. YouTube subscribers know. Hope everybody's doing all right today. Okay. Um, okay. Yeah, hope everybody's doing all right today. Whoever's here, feel free to say hi. Happy to see you here. I think I got my water right here. Yes, I do. So got that set up. Also, guys, reading is fundamental. I'm excited to dig into this book called Thirst. It's by the founder of Charity Water. He's doing great things. I always said that, well, not always. I've recently started saying that if I had a billion in liquid net worth, then I would be making sure that every place on the planet, every inhabited place on the planet would have, every person would have access to clean water. I'm currently working my way through this book on Will Smith. Oprah said it was the best memoir she's ever read, so that's huge praise. Probably about 60, 70 pages into this. It's really, really freaking good. Will is. I always knew that Will Smith was great and got a great show, but far more eloquent and insightful, and it's clear that he's had a lot of therapy. You can sort of tell with Red Table Talk because he has a tremendous understanding of not only himself today, but um, a strong interpretation and just great insights from his past. So anyway, it's about 2 minutes 45 seconds. Gonna wait until we hit the 5 minute mark, as I have been doing lately, before I actually hop into answering any questions. Um, and just sort of checking my email here. Okay. So yeah, there's three questions that I'm going to be answering today that I prepared, but of course, in line with this Q&A, the real goal, and whoever hopped in, feel free to say hi. Uh, hey, Mark, welcome. Uh, Mark, the best email for me is let's just go with, I have a bunch. So let's go Donald at call center class, not cash, but class.com. I just typed it in. Yeah, good to know you're back though. COVID, it's obviously rough for a lot of people. So, Mark, welcome, man, and hopefully you're ready to get in pretty soon, man. I know that you've been wanting to get in for a while now. Okay, so, uh, question one is, what are the top three most important things you would learn from the course? Would learn from my course. Okay. Also, second thing, scammer. Welcome, scammer. Hi, scammer. Uh, Second thing was, when did you realize you wanted to start a center company? Wanted to start a call center company. All right. And then the third one would be, how long did it take for me to get my call center started? How long did it take for me to get my call center started? Okay. Now let's hide the scammer somehow. Report. Bam. Oh, all right. So anyway, yeah, we're at the 5 minute mark now. So again, the theme of these things is to make sure that I'm prioritizing answering any questions that come in. So Mark, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Uh, and but again, just in case no one asks any questions, I'm here prepared to answer the three that I've just typed in. So again, three most important things you will learn from my course. When did you realize you wanted to start a call center, and how long did it take for me to get started? Um, so yeah, okay. So top three most important things. I'll answer that first. But for those of you that don't know me well, I do have a free 4-day email course on how to, the basic of starting a call center. And the niche that I focus on is a virtual receptionist company because that's the type of business that I built. Um, but also, there is a paid version of the course which has been available for a little bit, actually a little bit over 2 years now. And we're nearing about 200 students that have enrolled in it. And we've got dozens of call centers that have launched as a direct result of it, doing a combined, millions and millions in revenue at this point annually. So, it's really, really cool. It's crazy what's being created. And I'm excited. So, um, first thing that I'll answer, when did you realize you wanted to start a call center company? So I realized I wanted to start a call center when, you know, I've told this story before, but I don't think it ever really gets that old. Essentially, I was running a cleaning company with my dad, and we were taking bookings online for those that wanted to book a cleaning, and then we'd have contractor cleaners go out and clean the houses. We typically did about 99% residential homes that we were cleaning, and I didn't do any of the cleaning. It was a great way to work from home, have a business that could really be operated from anywhere. Uh, in a simple market and being able to serve people in a real way. Like it was a very tangible value and it was an uncomplicated, somewhat, let's say, boring business idea. And so, in running that business, um, the stuff that I tried to do before that, for the most part, other than the software company, um, was focused on the wrong stuff. We were trying to accomplish too many innovations with the idea, and so I ended up trying stuff that didn't really have much of a chance from uh, a business idea perspective, and it's just sort of unfortunate. But at the same time, I was fortunate to be able to have those failures because it taught me, lessons along the way and enabled me to appreciate successes that much more, right? Um, so in running that cleaning company, of course, we had, most people booking online, but a good amount of people were still calling us and asking all kinds of questions, repetitive questions, really, that were available on the fact page. And, frankly, the calls volume that was coming in was taking a lot of time away from our ability to just focus on operations and continue to grow the business, right? Now, it's great to have incoming potential clients, fantastic, but it was still something that I felt like we shouldn't be handling ourselves, right? So rather than hiring an in-house receptionist, at the time we were about a year in and only doing about, let's say, $12,000 a month. So we didn't want to spend 3 grand a month on a receptionist. So I looked into answering services. And so in looking into the different potential answering service possibilities, I realized there weren't any that like really impressed me so much that I had to use them. And I also recognized that maybe I could reverse engineer one of these companies myself. And so I realized that there weren't any companies that were created by cleaning business owners and for cleaning businesses, right? And so I saw an opportunity. I saw, again, a simple thing that I knew I needed in my business. So the demand was clearly there. Um, I saw a simple business in, let's say, a boring scenario. You're just answering calls for businesses. but because it's simple, I knew I could get it done. Right? I didn't know anything about call center, but I knew I could put it together and get it done. And so essentially, that's what happened. Right? I launched my company based off of that premise, and we launched on January 1st of 2015. Okay. Um, so yeah, whoever's here, feel free to say hi. Uh, Tell us, where you're from. And Mark, I know you got some questions, man. You're out there in Cali. Maybe you're doing a lot of thinking during your COVID time. Um, so yeah, that's when I realized I wanted to start. Now, how long did it take for me to get started? Once we realized we wanted to start, so I realized I wanted to start around October of 2014. So probably mid October, doing my research and almost buying phase for my own answering service solution for the cleaning company I was running. Um, and because I was doing that business as well as the software startup, um, already had two projects going. So I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and try to find a partner. So I called one guy named David. Uh, you know, he was too busy. He was another entrepreneur and he didn't have the bandwidth. Second guy I called, his name was Micah, and he was out in Kansas City. I'm in Chicago, and one conversation and he was in. So that was exciting. So we started working on it, and I don't know if it was like day one, but very early on we set a launch date of January 1st, and so it was basically end of October 2014. We set a launch date of just over 2 months later, January 1st, 2015. And so, again, I didn't know anything about call centers. I didn't have any type of mentorship. I didn't have a program like the one that exists through me now. No, nothing, right? Literally nothing. And I'm sure some of you that are seeing me now, you went on Google or YouTube even and search, hey, how do you start a call center? And you find a little bit of information, but nothing too cohesive or comprehensive. And then you eventually stumble on me. And so my goal with this was to create a resource for those that needed a comprehensive sort of blueprint to walk them through all the steps of being able to own and operate their own call center. So, long story short, it took us about 2 months. Um, you know, uh, it took us 2 months not knowing anything. Now, in terms of launching, of course, launching doesn't mean you have traction and success, right? Uh, Anybody can, launch something, especially when it doesn't cost all that much money to launch. And we didn't even actually have our LLC or get incorporated or anything for like 10 months. I think it was in our 10th month that we finally got incorporated. So we waited. Um, but to, I guess, make a long story short again, after 2 months, we were break even. So, not a lot of businesses can say that. I was especially proud about that. Again, we had no experience whatsoever, and we broke even in 2 months. Um, and yeah, I mean that's about it. Took us 2 months to launch, then an additional 2 months not knowing anything to be able to break even. Now I will say that even though we didn't know anything, we were somehow doing some things right. And the reason I know this is because after I launched, or we launched, me and my partner, who I bought out a year later, um, there was a time where we were making a splash in the communities that we were participating in, especially the cleaning business community, and there were some other businesses in our sort of segment or around that tried to sort of copy what we were doing in launch, and I think there was like a good 10 to 15 of them. Oh, hi, Monique. Hope everything's going well with you. Um, yeah, so there was like 10 to 15 different other companies that launched that were essentially trying to steal our idea. And I don't want to say steal our idea, but they launched as a direct result of us, right? Now, it wasn't our idea so much because obviously call centers already existed, virtual receptionist companies already existed. But rather than saying, oh, okay, we'll also do a virtual receptionist company, they essentially tried to copy us. They didn't have any type of whatever at all. And so I think they all failed. There might have been one of the 15 that lasted, but the rest failed. So we were doing some stuff right. Um, and so, yeah, again, I do outline that in the course. But there's clearly some stuff that you need to sort of make sure you're doing right. One of the things that I know we did right, and I'll sort of answer a newfound question here. And Monique, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm prioritizing answering your questions as opposed to just continuing to ramble about my story. Um, but one of the things we definitely did right was we focused on content marketing early on. We were in a situation where we oh nice, well good timing this time, right? Um, we were in a situation where we again we were creating content quickly. We had a blog early on. We were guest posting on other sites. We were posting on Reddit. We were sort of getting excuse me, we were getting our site listed in different directories. And so, those different pieces of content and such all over the internet enabled us to get some inbound traffic that really, really kicked in our sixth and seventh month and continued on from there. Um, and so that's what happened. That was one of the big things. And then another big thing is that in the beginning we focused very specifically on a niche that we knew and loved. I don't know about love, but we knew it. I can't say I love the cleaning business. Um, so because we knew the cleaning business so well, though, both of us, my partner and I, both owned separate cleaning companies. Because we knew the business, we were able to sort of say, okay, well, hey, prospects, you're a cleaning business. We are cleaning business owners, and we have a service that will enable you to get your phone handling done in the most efficient, optimized way because we're uniquely positioned to do a better job than the others, right? Our agents are trained in a way that only us cleaning businesses know how to train them. We work with the system that you guys use, which was called Launch 27. We were just messaging, our branding, and the way we position ourselves was specific to cleaning company. And then, of course, we left a lot of general messaging for other types of businesses as well. But in terms of our direct outbound prospecting, for sure, it was catered toward cleaning companies in the beginning. And so, yeah, I mean, day one, we had several clients. I think it was five. By the end of the first week, we had 9 or 10. And on my very first call, my targeting was so on point. My very first call was almost a six-figure client, lifetime value for the call center. So that was great. Like literally my very first cold call. And that same first cold call is actually the same client and whatever that ended up buying my cleaning company 2 years later, 2.5 years later. So that was very good. And so that's the third thing I think we did right. We knit and then we targeted very well in terms of our prospecting based off of that niche. So those are three things. Other people, I'm assuming they didn't do that or they just didn't stick it through or whatever. I think when you don't know anything about an industry and you don't go in for the right reason, it can be sort of difficult. But again, with me providing a blueprint, things get a lot easier. Okay. Um, Mark F., out of country representative for the call center seems to be an excellent way to increase profit. What type of mix would you suggest? USA versus out of the country? Well, honestly, if I'm starting now, frankly, I would start with all overseas people. Funny, I built up my call center personally with all USA based people, and I didn't really give enough insight or thought into the possibility of overseas talent. But since launching the program and also eventually starting an overseas staffing agency focused in Eastern Europe for people that are launching their call centers and getting a sense of what it's like. We've been placing dozens of agents for different people. Now I have sort of an inside track on how these agents are doing, and what their performance is like and what their client care, right? And the point is that if I were to start today, if I were to start over, especially with the small amount of money I had at the time, like very small amount, um, I 100% would start with all overseas people. Now, over time, I might mix in from US based people. And, let's say when I'm at 50 agents, maybe I would have 20. But I don't even know if I do that. I don't even know if it would be necessary. It was nice having some US based people every now and then. Like, I'd have a friend of a friend that needed a job and we'd be able to provide it if it was the right fit. So that was nice. But you know, the profits are tremendous. I mean, we got a 35% margin at seven figures in revenue. We're able to have a 35% net margin. Um, and so the largest expense by far was payroll. Um, and it would have been significantly higher, probably around 50%. It would have been at least 50% if all of our agents were overseas. So that's just crazy. And, adds up to a tremendous amount of money. And, obviously, money is not the only thing that matters, but especially earlier on, it makes it that much easier to sort of hit the ground running and be able to have more resources to expand your business early on because you're, right now cost the Lord. Okay. So I hope that answers your question. I would suggest starting off with all overseas people, and then when you're comfortable, slotting in some U.S. based people, as you need. Now you're in California, by the way. I would say make sure you don't incorporate in California. California is ridiculous. So just pick a different state that isn't California. Um, okay, Monique asked, do you prefer cold calling or cold emailing with this service? So I personally did cold calling. And that's because, I know that I'm decent at it. I spent my time in my career before having any business, let alone this one, in sales and sales management space. And so I just knew that it's completely free and so cold email, but I knew I'd be able to do it. Now with cold email, the nice earth thing is that one is nowhere near as scary, and two, you can reach out to a lot more people. Now you don't get to have a conversation with these people and get sort of live feedback, but there's pros and cons to it. There's definitely some people that have been making some real splashes with cold email. So it really just comes down to what you like. Now, one nice thing too about cold email is that you can do it at any time. You can send emails even if you schedule it for the next day or for during business hours. You can send them off and put the effort into them at any time of day. So we're calling, you have to only call a certain time. Emailing, you can work on the emails and targeting, and you can schedule an email to send out at 10 a.m. the next day if it's like 8 p.m. at night and you're still wanting to prospect, right? And so you could do a combination of both. There's a lot of possibilities in either direction, and students that have come through the program have utilized both methods, including additional methods outside of those two to land clients consistently. So I hope that answers your question. Um, so again, I think I would slightly prefer cold calling, but that's very slight. Um, yeah. Okay. So another thing. Oh yeah. So Mark said, what other company provide that kind of profit? Almost none. Yeah, there just aren't that many, especially service-based companies. Service-based companies, like software, yeah, you can hit it. Um, There's all kinds of like software thing. Let's say you did, information marketing. Let's say the course was like the way that I did my business, right? You can get 50% in a course, but the course, for instance, and I'm just being completely transparent here, the course isn't a business, right? It's a product I'm selling, but it's not a business. So having an actual business where people are paying you every single month. You have employees and stuff, and you're growing something, and you're dealing with human capital, and to be able to achieve anything near 50% is absolutely awesome. So yeah, love it. Um, okay, so Monique said I launched my website a few weeks ago and started with cold emailing, but haven't had any luck. Well, I'm not sure if you're in the tribes yet, Monique, but let me know. Um, yeah, have you joined the program yet? Because if you are, then you can hop on our Zoom call, the tribe call after this one, and we can start to talk you through it. Also, for free within the tribe, we are going to be doing a cold emailing boot camp uh, inside the next few weeks. So that would be cool. We haven't done one yet. We've done like uh, two or three cold calling boot camp, but we haven't done any cold emailing ones. And the cold emailing ones, uh, the guy that is doing the presentation on that, he built his company from 0 to 100 agents in 2 years using only cold email. So, you know, definitely some value there. Okay. Mark asks how many emails Monique. Yeah, one thing to keep in mind though, no matter whether I'm helping you or whatever, um, it does sort of take some time figuring out, and it's a different timeline for everyone, but it does take some time to figure out, who your best target client is going to be, uh, who is reacting best to your messaging, the way you position yourself, the way you're branding yourself. Monique, after we get off this call, if you want, you can email me. Email me your website, and I can take a quick look at it, and I'll give you a quick pointer or two as far as whether your website itself is helping you win clients or is actually hindering your effort. So it's definitely important. Um, so yeah, feel free to take me up on that. What else? What else? Any other questions at the moment? And by the way, guys, I've got about 10 more minutes. We're going to be hopping on the tribe call in 20 minutes. Okay. Yeah, yeah. So trying to get those little knobs I have, and once I make a profit, we're investing in the growth. Yeah, Monday, totally understood. Um, so I guess another question is, are you taking the calls yourself? Like how, like, do you have a phone system set up? If you were to land a client, how are you handling and servicing that client? That's a big important question. And if anybody else has any questions in between, I know I've been rambling a lot. Throat hurts a little bit. Actually received an inbound lead yesterday. That's awesome. Puppy's pretty good, Mark. He's just over 9 months. It appears as though he finally potty trained. So that's nice. Yeah, it takes time. There's some people that maybe you should watch Andy's interview, Monique, or even who's the other person, Maurice. Either of their interviews, they're on this YouTube channel. Both of them started off, I think the first like 2 3 months, they didn't have much luck. And then they landed a client. I think Andy got one client early on, but he didn't have much luck over the course of 3 months. I think after 3 months, he was at like 5 clients or something. So not a lot. And he was putting in consistent effort. But what happened with that because you're putting in consistent effort for a few months, and we're not talking a year here, we're talking 3 months, which anybody can do. If you're not willing to do it, you don't deserve to be in business. So after 3 months, he had started building a pipeline. The pitch was getting better, and you just gain intuition about who best to target. Like it's just something that happens. And so, long story short, 3 months in, he had very little revenue, maybe 5 clients top. And after a year, he was at over 50 clients and, over 10 full time agents working for him and over $20,000 a month in monthly revenue, which is better than I did. Maurice, uh, after 10 months, had crossed the $20,000 a month mark in revenue. And I think at the year mark, he had like 12 full time agents working for him. So both of them were able to do it. But, both of them had a lot of trouble starting off, in terms of their outbound efforts. It just takes time. Oh, so that's great that you walked off. Fantastic. So yeah, just keep at it. If you reach out to 1,000 people, there's going to be a decent amount of people that are like, you know what, it sounds like a cool thing, but I'm not quite sure if I'm ready yet. And then over time, you know, they'll have you in the back of their mind. And then some people will come in eventually and say, okay, you know what, I'm ready. And so that's been happening to these people. As you build this pipeline, just a giant pipeline, you know, more and more just start to trickle through at on their own timeline, but they start to trickle through. And the larger your pipeline is, the more, like, let's say you have 1% of your pipeline coming through. If you got 10,000 in it, well, that's 100 clients. If you only have 100 in it, that's only one client. So continue to build your pipeline. Okay. EBS7 is a pretty good one. That's the only one I would ever use. I haven't used it, but a few people are using it. Um, and it's the only one outside of Dialpad that I'll recommend outside of 5.9, which is arguably, well, it's just a lot more comprehensive. Okay. Any other quick questions? We've got about 6 or 7 more minutes. Six or seven more minutes. Okay. Coming back here. Okay, no questions at the moment. I can keep talking. Oh, so there was a third question I was going to answer. I try not to talk about the course too much, but what are the top three most important things you would learn from the course? And so I'm just going to answer that really quickly. The first thing you're going to learn is how to wrap your head around just everything, right? You can watch, let's say you watch every single one of the live videos on YouTube, you're going to start to learn a lot of things, right? But what happens is that unless you're extremely meticulous, it's going to be hard to sort of piece everything together. Frankly, at this point, I don't know what I've covered, and I don't know what I haven't covered. But what will happen is it's all contained in this nice cohesive format. I really went pretty hard ham in terms of creating something that gave you the A to Z in a way that's simple and easy to understand. So the first thing in terms of being able to have success is being able to wrap your head not just around the concept, but about the ins and outs of everything. Because when you're prospecting and like you're reaching out to people and they ask you questions, uh, they might ask you something that you think you can't handle. But as you learn more about the business, you realize you could have handled it. And that would be the difference between, getting the deal and not getting the deal. Or when they ask certain questions, your answers are a lot more in depth. you sound a lot more like you know what you're talking about because you do, right? That helps win deals. Um, so that's one. You just gain a better understanding, which really helps in myriad ways. You know, two, it that of course we go over marketing and you know we have the community, whereas you know in the calls that we do every week, we're almost always talking about marketing on those calls. And then three is that you know it's a forever asset situation. So you know even though it's completely comprehensive, every now and then there's stuff that's like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and add this. And once you're in, you always get free access to that additional content as it's added to the course, and the course becomes more valuable. For you know people that aren't in the course, it's just gonna be more expensive. I'm never gonna lower it. But for those that are already in, they got that access. So all right. And you know, thank you for saying that, Monique. Thank you for saying that, Mark. I really appreciate it. So yeah, you know, not trying to hype this up too much, but I said I would answer what are the top three things you would get out of it, and those are the top three things. Um, okay, so you know, I've got you know a few more minutes. If anyone has any questions, my throat is killing me. You know, sometimes I feel like I should play some music or something, but I can't. YouTube will copyright block me so hard, and I didn't even realize it at first, but then I remembered. uh, yeah, I don't. Oh, Lucky, way over there. Lucky, Lucky. Yeah, there he is. um. All right. Any other final questions here? I know there's a few of you, so you know there are no dumb questions, right? So, and if you feel like you're asking a question that's been asked before, I don't care. I'll answer it again. At this point, I've answered everything. So, um, 2 years of doing these live calls, I've answered pretty much everything. All right, about oh yeah, Mark was saying have some hot sake. You know, I've been drinking. I've been sipping sake lately. Absolutely love it. I've been doing a lot of cold sake, but hot sake is nice as well. Um, it's great. You know, I used to drink wine more often or beer, but beer gets me bloated and wine gives me headache. And so sake has been absolutely great in preventing both of those things. So it's a nice thing to sip on. Plus, the bottles look really awesome. So I might just do that after this call. And I appreciate you, Mark. Any other questions from anyone? I will be here next week, but you know, if you're going to be on here, I see there's like 6 or 7 of you. You're going to be on here. Feel free to ask whatever questions you got. All right. One more minute, Mark. One more minute. Not Mark as a mark, but one more minute left, as in the 1 minute mark in a 40-minute call timer. Okay. So I don't know. I'll just talk. You know, end of the day, again, um, I think there's a lot of people that are here just, you know, for those of you that aren't in the tribe, or even if you're in the tribe and you're sort of trying to figure things out, the one thing to keep in mind if you're ever discouraged at any point is always remember that the only thing you're trying to convince people to do is allow your agent or yourself to answer the phone on behalf of their business. And so whatever that means, you know, it can mean a lot of different things, but it's almost always going to be valuable to them. So you just have to show them where that value is. Usually it's pretty simple. Like, hey, do you miss any calls? Okay, when you miss a call, how much money is that worth? Uh, hey, Monique, have a good one. Whatever those questions are, you make sure that you answer them and figure out where the value is going to be for them so that they can recognize that what they're going to be paying you is usually far less than the value, either in terms of the time they get back or in terms of potential increased revenue or better impressions on their potential customers. It's very rare that we see a situation where people just aren't getting the value, and that's when they're usually a tiny business that isn't getting pretty much any calls at all. Um, when it's a business that's really doing anything, everybody needs to have their calls answered, right? If they have a phone number, somebody needs to be answering that phone. So why not you, right? So other than that, I appreciate you guys, and you're all fantastic. I will be here next week, and for those of you that didn't have a chance to ask any questions that you might have, feel free to watch this replay. It's going to be available as soon as I hop off, and then if you, for whatever reason, are interested in grabbing the program and you, for some reason, haven't seen it or heard about it, that's the link to it. Feel free to click on that to check it out. Other than that, thanks a lot, guys, and I appreciate you all. See you next week.